how can people find out what a balanced diet is for them?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to understand is that a balanced diet is fundamentally made up of healthy foods. Mm-hmm. So, if you want something that's individualized for yourself, you have to go and see somebody for example, if you have a weight loss goal, for example, then it would be recommended that you go to somebody like a registered dietitian who can have a look at what your circumstances are, evaluate your health. Have you got other health problems? What's your current activity level? What are you currently eating? How can we change that or tweak that slightly to improve your diet in terms of achieving the weight loss, but also making sure you're getting the nutrition that you need. But in general terms, a balanced diet is one that consists of a variety of different foods. It includes plenty of vegetables and fruit, and there is strong evidence to show us that vegetables and fruit are the guardians of our health in many ways. They are one of the most important components of a healthy diet. And when one starts to restrict that, as is done with these other recommendations, then real questions come up in terms of whether that's safe in the long term. So it's plenty of vegetables and fruits. It's a variety of different foods. It's whole grain foods. It's legumes. It's making sure you get dairy in your diet. It's making sure that you replace unhealthy fats with healthy fats. So it's not necessarily a fat-free diet, you know. A balanced diet contains fat, it contains carbohydrate, it contains protein. These are all good. It's about the quality of those that you incorporate in your diet. So quality is something that is relevant to carbohydrates and it's relevant to fat. Good quality carbohydrates are your whole grain foods, sweet potatoes, oats, that sort of stuff. And then quality fats are your healthy plant fats versus your unhealthier animal source fats. So it's really about trying to make good food decisions when you can. But that being said, I think a large part of our population is not necessarily in the position to always make food choices because they are, they can't potentially afford that. So I think that's an important point to consider when you're making recommendations, is to make recommendations that are easy for everybody to follow. And that's really encapsulated in the South African Food-Based Dietary Guidelines, which have been developed for our population, incorporating all of the groups from upper LSM down to lower LSM in an effort to try to improve the quality of the South African population's diets.
Great. Well,
can I just say one other thing? Early on, Celeste referred to the Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa requesting this study. And I just wanted to give some context to that.
Sure.
Because we work in two centers. One is the Center for Evidence-Based Healthcare, which is at Stellenbosch University, and the other is the South African Cochrane Center, which is at the Medical Research Council. And what those centers do is they do systematic reviews on a range of different topics, and they often do it in response to a request. It may be from the World Health Organization, for which we do work, the National Health Department, but essentially this is, we produce evidence that can be adopted by people who are making recommendations for in healthcare. So either a policy recommendation, a practice recommendation, or whatever. And so because of the increasing popularity, I suppose, of the low-carb diet, the Heart and Stroke Foundation were constantly having to answer to the public about, is this a good idea or not? And so they needed to know what is the scientific basis of this. And it's on those grounds that they approached us to do the systematic review, which was, I said, it took us 2 years, and we've now produced that evidence so that they can use it. They did not, let me be absolutely clear, they did not fund this study. So we're not working for them.
They just asked for the information.
They just offer the information. The study was funded by the Medical Research Council, by the UK government through the Department for International Development, where they give us grants to do the systematic review work in general, not specifically for one type of review or the other.
Now, where can anyone who's watching this video who would like to read the study do that?
Well, it's, as Jimmy mentioned, it's published in an open access journal. That means you don't have to subscribe to the journal. It's available freely on the internet. So they could just go to the PLOS One website and they could type in my surname, Naude, and they should be able to get the link to the article. Alternatively, it's also available on the Stellenbosch University website. Our press release is there, and a direct link to the PLOS One paper is also on that press release.
Great. Thank you both so much for coming in and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.